Okay, great. Thank you everybody for joining this webinar with FACT Exhibitions. FACT Exhibitions is the leading exhibition and conferences organizing company in Pakistan. They specialize in industrial and corporate trade shows and have a portfolio of over 25 industrial sectors. And they're also in the UFI approved event organizing groups. And they hold their events in accordance with the international standards. FACT Exhibitions is the organizer of Solar Pakistan, the country's only dedicated solar energy exhibition and conference. And they have taken the initiative to organize this informative webinar series on the solar energy situation in Pakistan and worldwide to facilitate and cater to the needs of the industry, specifically in Pakistan, a growing industry and growing quite well. There are many industry professionals who are looking to understand and know about the top trends about solar energy in Pakistan and as well as worldwide, and to connect with experts in their relevant field. Global leaders and future strategists will open a forthcoming discussion for solar professionals to stay engaged with the industry peers. Dear attendees, please note that you can also view the recorded webinar on the FACT Exhibitions YouTube channel, FACT TV, that is FAKT TV. Our valued speakers for today's webinar, which is Pakistan Solar Webinar number 4. First, we'll have Mr. David Lee, Sales Manager of Frecon Electric Company Limited. He will share experiences about the solar pump inverter, and this will be followed by Mr. Tony Chow, who's the Technical Senior Manager for Jinlong Solis, a growing inverter brand, and he will talk about Solis three-phase inverter that boasts top-of-the-line efficiency and yield, and then he will take us through a presentation on that. Now, I would like to request Mr. David Lee to take it forward from here. Thanks, David. Over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Wackers. Now I'm going to turn the screen sharing. Now I'm going to introduce my talk. Just wait a moment, please. Hello, everyone. I'm David Lee. I'm the sales manager from Frecon Electric. Today, the topic of my talk is experience sharing about the solar pump inverters. There are 8 sections of my presentation. The first one is the company profile. Frecon Electric is a national high-tech enterprise. We have 12 years experience on frequency inverter and control system design. Our products power range cover 0.2 kilowatt to 1 megawatt. And the solar pump inverter, which I'm going to introduce today, the power is up to 710 kilowatt. And this range is enough for most of the countries. And we have 33 software copyrights and utility patents, 5 service centers and 12 branches in China, distribution network and service center cover 48 countries all over the world. Now I'm going to introduce our solar pump system. This system is very simple. You only need to connect some solar panels with our solar pump inverters, and then you only need to connect a solar pump. This is a very simple system. After you connect these solar panels and the pump, you don't need to maintain the system. You don't need to pay the electricity bills, and just waiting there, and you will get unlimited water every day. And this system is very cost effective. You can introduce this system to local farmers because in this system, you even don't need to install batteries. Everybody knows batteries is expensive. So for this system, you don't need to connect the batteries. It will help you pump the water from well or river every day. And maybe you need to get a tank to store the water. Once you need the water, you just open the faucet. Here is a picture to show you a simple solar pump system. In this system, it's in this small box installed a small frequency solar pump inverter. The power is around 1 horsepower or 2 horsepower. This small system is very suitable for local farmer or a small family. It can provide water for your farmland or your livestock, or even for your family members. No matter how big of your pump, we can provide the solar pump inverter to you. And here is another picture to show you another simple solar pump system. This picture is showing you Frecon solar pump inverter installed in a cabinet. To install a system, to install a solar pump inverter system, the first question is how to select solar pump inverters. There are many types of solar pump inverters. The appearance is different, the size is different, and the model is different. How we are going to select all these inverters? You know, here is a picture to show you all the many models of our solar pump inverters. The answer to select solar pump inverters is you just select it according your motor, according your pump. Okay, you will find some information on your pump, for example, rated current and rated voltage and the rated and single phase or three phase of your pump. Once you found this information, you just tell us or the or Frecon local distributor. They will help you to find out the correct Frecon solar pump inverter. Here's a picture to show you what's the meaning of Frecon solar pump of these model numbers. For example, the 4 means the voltage level 380, and the T means the three phase or single phase. After you understand the model number, you can come to this table and select the correct models. For example, if you have a 5.5 kilowatt pump, then you select this one, PV 500-40-5.5B. And if you have a single phase pump, 220 volt single phase pump, then you select the PV 150i. This is a very special model because you need to select the models by the rated current instead of kilowatt, instead of power. After you select the pump, we need to know how to configure DC power supply. You can find many types of solar panels in your market, different size and different parameters. So how we are going to configure DC power supply? First of all, once we get a solar panel, you can find a label back of the solar panel. You can find many information, but the full information is very important. That is power and VOC, VMP, IMP. Once you find this full information, you can count how to connect all these solar panels. There are 3 basic requirements you need to obey. The first one is the voltage. If you have a 220 volt pump, the voltage you need to reach is 350 volt DC. And if you have 380 volt pump, the voltage you need to reach is 550 DC. And the question is coming. So how are you going to reach this voltage? Normally, solar panel voltage is around 37 or 76 watt. The answer is you connect all these solar panels in series to reach this voltage. And the second requirement is the power need to be 30% higher than the pump. The solution to increase the power of the solar panels is you connect this series of solar panels in parallel, and if you connect more solar panels in parallel, then you can get more power, and this is requirement 2. The requirement 3 is the IMP of solar panels need to be higher than pump. Need to be than the pump rated current, and it's different between high power pump and low power pump. For example, if you have a 37 kilowatt pump, the IMP of solar panels even same is no problem. But if you have a small power pump, for example, 0.75 kilowatt pump or 1.5 kilowatt pump, the IMP of solar panels need to be 100% higher. And some customers may think this calculation is kind of complicated, it's very hard to understand, and they say some farmers is very hard to make this all calculation. We got many these requirements. We got many these questions, and we have a solution that is we can provide a software. This software can help you to make all the calculation. For example, you type, there are 3 blocks in this software. The first block is green one, is a blue one. You can type all your solar panel information in this part. And then the second part is a purple block. You type all your motor information in this block. After that, you just click this calculation. You will get the answer out of this yellow part. You will get. It will tell you how to connect the solar panels. How many solar panels in series? How many series of solar panels in parallel? So if you after you bought our products, welcome connect us to get this software. This software is totally free for our customers. The last part is very simple. It's a pump connection. This is very easy. For example, if you have a 3-phase pump, you just connect the UVW on the terminal of inverters. But for single-phase pump, it's kind of different. It is divided by 2 types. And one type is if you have big capacitors outside, you need to set 0.800 to 2. And here is the connection. So you need to connect the motor in this way. But if you have a single phase pump which doesn't have bigger capacitors outside, here, and we can provide another solution to connect the motor and set the motor. Now I'm going to introduce some basic functions of our solar pump inverters. The first one is dormancy and wake up functions. This one is this function enables the pump sleep at night and wake up in the morning automatically. So you don't need to turn on and turn off the inverter every day. So once you install the system, you just wait the water come every day. You don't need to maintain the system. You don't need to manage all the system. It's a very convenient function. The second function is auto switch function from PV to grid power. Some customers require the pump run for a long time. For example, at 6 p.m., the sunshine is not strong. So some customers still want the pump run at night. This function will enable the inverter shift from DC power supply to AC power supply automatically during this weak sunshine light. So it can make sure the pump inverter can work 24 hours a day. The third function I'm going to introduce is water level control. In this function, you need to add a water sensor. For example, if you have a tank, you install this sensor in your tank. Once the water is full, it will tell the inverter to stop the pump. Another application is you install the sensor in your well. If your well is run out of water, it also will tell the inverter to stop running. We export these products to many countries, 20,000 units every year. So this product is very popular, especially in some countries unavailable for the grid power. And we have a great market share in India, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Philippines, Thailand, and many African countries, Middle East countries. We have very good market share in there. And many customers told us our products have very good efficiency and reliability. And that is why we have so good market share in there. And that is why we export so many products to these countries every year. And we are not only stopping here. We are developing another product called SPV 500. This product has many features, include the IP65 waterproof feature and remote controls, and it has a remote control system, and it has a voltage boosting function combined with the combiner box, LCD screen, operating temperature up to 50 degrees. It's coming, it's on the way, and we will introduce this product very soon. In our word, our product, Frecon solar pump inverter, is very simple, and it can help you to install a product very. It can help you to install a very simple system, and can help your local farmer get water every day. And this product, we believe, can help you to enlarge your business. Thank you very much. Hello, thank you, Mr. Walkers.
Thank you, David. Thank you for the informative presentation. We will have some questions later on after the second presentation by Mr. Tony. And also, I would like to remind everybody that you can view the recorded webinar on the FACT Exhibition's YouTube channel, fact.tv, FAKT.tv on YouTube. So now, if Mr. Tony is ready, Mr. Tony Chow, I would request you to please take us through your presentation. Thank you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Tony, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. Now let me share my screen. Just 1 second. Sorry about this. Always a bit of problem.
While Mr. Tony is setting up his screen, let me take the chance to reintroduce him. Mr. Tony Chow is the technical senior manager for Jinlong Solis, and he will be talking about the Solis three-phase inverter, which boasts top-of-class efficiency and yield. The screen sharing has started now, so we'll be able to see the screen by Mr. Tony.
Okay, can you see the screen? Can you see the PowerPoint, the front page?
Yes, we can see the screen and the mouse pointer as well. Yeah.
Okay, is it normal? Shall I start now?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you everybody. I'm from Jinlong Solis, and I'm going to introduce you our string, our PV string inverters. So especially for the commercial and industrial application. Okay, the presentation is about like 50 minutes, and we have three sections. First section, I'm going to introduce you the company, and then following with our commercial and industrial solution, and then finally I will give you a few reference cases about our products. So let's start from the company introduction. So we are a company focusing on string inverters for about 15 years. And this is the company's lifeline. So in 2005, the company was established. We are one of the most experienced and the largest manufacturers of the solar inverters. And then in 2009, we complete a new the inverter production facilities that includes all the essential parts and the whole manufacturing process. And in 2012, we developed a joint academic workstation at Shanghai Jiaotong University. And then in 2015, we installed our inverter on Eiffel Tower in France, in Paris. In 2018, we have awarded 4 consecutive years from the EUPD for the string inverter. And in 2019, we become the first publicly traded company with a primary focus on the string inverters. And this year is the company's 15th anniversary. Okay, this is our market share slide. We are now currently the #1 domestic exporters of the distributed generation string inverters. So for the Chinese market, Solis has about 7% share. And we are the #3 inverters ranked third in the Chinese export in 2018 and 2019. For the global market, Solis have like about 12% market share. So we have a total shipments about 11,000 megawatts, about 25% year's growth rate. In 2018, we are the #2 in the global single-phase inverter manufacturer. And for the residential market, for domestic market, the company has 40% market share for the residential use. So these are 3 certifications that we have currently. We passed the PVEL reliability testing, and we have a few comments from these certification institutions. First, from the DNV GL, it comment that the company we are the useful life projections at near the top of the string inverter life projections, and we are called the most bankable Asian inverter by the Bloomberg NEF, and as mentioned before, we received 4 consecutive years award from the EUPD research. And here are, excuse me, here are a few top class partners that cooperating with us. We always choose the top end parts from the famous companies in the world to make sure that the product is delivered in a high quality. For example, we use the IGBT from the Infineon, and we use the Zettler LCD, and we use the connectors and relays from Panasonic from Japan. And 100% of inverters produced, we will be, before deliver the products, we will do the very strict duration tested and function tested before shipping the products to the customer. And all the inverters now, it has a LCD display so that you can check the running status and all the relative parameters of the inverter. And we use the MC4 connectors from the Stubli. And also we choose the chips from Texas Instruments and some you know, a paste from 3M, just as you know, I mean, you name it. So here is our 5 gigawatts plus manufacturing process, and it's the factory is located in Ningbo, Zhejiang, in the southern part of the China. So here is a brief processes of the manufacturing of one inverter. So first we are going to through a SMT process. Then it's a PCP patching, and then we will do an AOI inspection on the board. And then we will use the wave soldering techniques to fix all those units on the board. And after that, we go through a selective soldering process. And then it's anti-corrosion painting. Then we do the assembly and ADP. And then after this, we do all the function and duration test before the products being shipped out of the country, out of the factory. Okay, so this is a brief introduction of the company. Now I'm going to give you a brief introduction about our inverter products, especially for the commercial and industrial solution. I'm sorry, commercial and industrial application. So for the CNI application, we main models. Oh, sorry. We have the 1100 volts of the DC inputs and 400 volts of the AC outputs. And these 3 main models are the 80K 5G, 100K 5G, and 110K 5G. So the K means kilowatts. So the 5G means the 5th generation. So our products have 4 main features. So the first one is high yield. The product can achieve an efficiency up to 98.7%, and we can the inverter is compatible with the bifacial modules, and we have a multiple MPPTs inputs up to 28 amps. And for the 80K models, it has 9 MPPTs, and for the 100K and 110K models, they have 10 MPPT inputs. And the inverter can sustain that 10% more overload of the AC output. And also the inverter has an option of the PID recovery function. So to following the development of the market, and we are doing our products with the purpose of the low cost from customers, so that the customer can have more you know, revenue benefits. So a few techniques related to the low cost. First is a 2-in-1 white connector supported. We have in the DC input ports, we use one input combining two strings so that it can save a few DC cables. And on the AC output side, we use the aluminum cable to instead of the copper cable to save the cost. And also we have an option of the PLC communication, which is power line communication. You can save the use this technology can save the cost on the cable to establish the communication. And also we have a night reactive power compensation function. And for the safety and the reliabilities, our inverter is designed by the without fuse. So the fuse is easy to detect the over current, but it is very tedious to change the fuse, and also it might malfunction by itself. So we use a circuit breaker instead of the fuse. And the inverter is fitting the Type 2 surge protection device, and we have this function for both the DC and AC, and the inverter has a IP66 protection level, and also we have a active cooling mechanisms by the fan, and also come with AFCI protection. AFCI is the arc. It's arc fault current interrupter. So for the smart and operation and maintenance, we have a smart IV curve scanning function so that the customer can see how is the status of the inverter running and whether there's a problem. And also we can monitoring the strings instead of the whole array so that we can locate the fault position more precisely. And also we can have a remote control of the inverter. So these are briefly a few features of our product. So here is a brief general scheme of the connections. So we have, you see here, we have two strings. So it shows that you can parallel connect the inverters, and each inverter can connect to a few PV strings, and then the AC outputs will be combined in the combiner in the AC box, and then from that the AC will going through a low voltage cabinet before it's going to the load and going to the grid. And also in addition to the three basic models mentioned before, we also have a 50K, 60K, and 25K, 30K, 33K, and 40K models to flexibly fix the any applications that is now. I mean, if it's a small commercial use or is a large scale use, but breaking down into small pieces, we have a small power units that we can use. So also our system have a facility have a good monitoring solution. So this is shown. This slide is showing we're using a Datalogger stick, so we call it a DLS. It's a stick style Datalogger. You can plug and play into the inverter, and it's very convenient. And one inverter will be corresponding to one Datalogger, and the Datalogger can be connected to the monitoring platform using the Wi-Fi or GPRS or using the LAN cable. Then the customer will see the whole operating status of the inverter from this platform. In addition to the stick, we also provide a monitoring box. So it's so-called DLB. It's a Datalogger box. So it's different from Datalogger stick. The Datalogger box can connect up to 10 inverters for one box. And also the box will go through the Wi-Fi or GPRS to the monitoring platform. And this part is pretty same with the DVS. And also between the inverter and the monitoring box is connected by the RS485. And we also provide an option of the power line communication. So the customer can choose this option if they prefer this way of communication. And we have a internal board inside the inverter that it generates the PLC signal once in a while, and then the signal will go through will be combined in the combined box and go through a so-called PLC CCO. It's a control center. The control center will change the signal into the RS485 signals, and going through the monitoring box and then going to the monitoring platform. And here are two points that I want to mention for the cost saving solutions. So this is, we call it two-in-one Y connector. So you can see this small picture on the left bottom of the slide. We have two DC inputs, and it's combined going into one MPPT inputs into the inverter. So this saves a cable. This saves cost on the DC cables. You can see we use the 1 6 mm square millimeter strings and combined with 2 4 square millimeter strings. So the 6 mm square cable is higher, the cost is higher, so we choose the 4 mm square millimeter cables to save the cost. And also, so the two-in-one, the Y connector is on the DC input side, and on the AC output side, we generate a connector compatible with an aluminum cable. So we can see in the bottom part, the aluminum cable is a little bit lower with a current carrying capacity than copper wire, but it's much lower in the cost than the copper wire. So in an overall result, using the aluminum AC cable, you can reduce the cost of the cable about 50%. And here is our export limiting solution. So we have an EPM device, meaning the export power management. So it uses a current transmitter. Current transformer on the power line, and to sense the current either from the PV side to the grid side, or in reverse direction. So this function is basically to protect the PV side from the current, from the back current from the grid, to especially in the case that if the PV has generate more electricity than the grid can accept, and then the loads can consume. The EPM can protect the PV or can protect the inverter from the current, from the back current or reverse current. So for the EPM, for the three-phase application, we have two models. One is the EPM 35G, and the second one is EPM 35G plus. So the difference between the two is that the EPM 35G can connect up to 10 inverters. The plus version, it can connect up to 80 inverters. And also for the plus version, it has a high accuracy power meter and a data logging box built in. So for the Plus version, it can use as a data logger as well. So this slide shows the PID PID recovery function. So the PID stands for the potential induced degradation. It's a very it's very painful. It's very painful action of the solar cell. If the cell is connected to the ground and the other cell has a higher voltage, then the current will there will be a leakage current from the high voltage to the ground through the cell. So it will degrade the cell's performance in the daytime. So our solution to protect the PV panel from the PID is to use a reverse voltage adding on the cell, so that it can cancel out the PID voltage, so that the cell can be protected. So the board, there is a specially PID board inside the inverter, and it will add that reverse voltage at night when the PV irradiance is low. So here is the safety solution. So the safety is always a big issue for the electrical systems, and our inverter has an AFCI function. So especially for the commercial and the industrial applications, it's always building in the factory, laboratory, office, or some other high value assets like modern buildings. So if there is a fire risk, or it might not only affect the PV system, it may also have additional damages. So to protect the system from the high DC voltage or any potential cases of damaged, loose, or corroded parts, which can cause the DC arcs and fire, so we add this arc fault circuit interrupter inside the inverter. And this function can detect the DC arc very precisely and timely, and then stop the inverter. So it can cut off the inverter from the system, so that the fire will not happen. And we also this function will pass the UL certification. We also have a monitoring platform to monitor or to supervise the running status of the PV power station. It's called Solis Cloud, and this platform, we can use this to achieve the smart operation and maintenance. There are three main features of this platform. The first one is remote control. We can control the system from your device unit. You can do the remote upgrade. You can remote power on or power off the system, or you can even remote update your grid code. And also we can monitor the array. Instead of monitor in the array level, we can monitor the system in the string level, which is more precise. And also we can locate any problems in the MPPT level, like probably which MPPT inputs has a problem. And in addition, we also have an IV curve scanning function. So this function you can see this small pictures on the bottom of the slide. We can see the IV curve, whether they have a strange shape or very irregular trendings, so that we can use this IV curve scanning function to diagnose whether the system is running healthily. Okay, here is the last section that I will introduce you a few reference cases that we're building in China and out of China. So this is a project of 564 kilowatts. It's a plastic factory. And this is a case in Shanxi Jinniu Construction Engineering Company. The scale is 1.1 megawatts. And this is a project in Heli Mode. It's 2 megawatts project. And this is Guangzhou Zijiang Packaging Factory. It's 965 kilowatts. And this is a project in the Technology Pioneer Park in Zhangjiagang. It's about a little bit more than 2 megawatts. And this is a chemical factory in Vietnam. It's 200 kilowatts. And this is also a packaging factory in Vietnam. It's 224 kilowatts. And also this is Ankoha's brother factory is 430 kilowatts in Vietnam. And this is a project in Netherlands. It's called Schiprenzel Eindhoven. It's 2 megawatts project. Okay, thanks everybody. That's what I want to present today. That's all. Thank you. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm finished.
Thank you very much, Tony. Thank you, Tony, for your presentation. And now I think we will be able to take some questions. I think we have about 10 minutes remaining. So what I'll do is I'll check the questions which we have received so far, and we will take the questions in the order that they were received. The first question which we received, and this one I believe goes to Mr. David. The question asked, your company deals in microinverter as well. Are you dealing with microinverters? So if you can just answer that question. And also I will give you the second question at the same time for Mr. David. Do you have any installed projects in Pakistan? So we'll appreciate if you can answer both of these questions together, please.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Vagos. Regarding the first question, yes, our company is dealing in microinverters. The small size inverter, is 0.2 kilowatt and 0.75 kilowatt. So yes, we have this micro inverters. For the second question, yes, we have installed many projects in Pakistan, and in fact, we have a distributor in there. We exported many products to Pakistan, so there are hundreds of thousands of projects in Pakistan. Thank you, Mr. Vagos.
You're welcome. The third question, which perhaps I think we can ask the same question to Mr. Tony as well. If you could just tell us briefly about the installations in Pakistan for Solis.
I'm briefly charging in the technology part. I'm not very familiar with the sales part, but I'm pretty sure that we have projects in Pakistan. But I don't know which specific projects we have.
I believe I can also answer this question because we have also installed Solis inverters ourselves. So there is a lot of installations of Solis in Pakistan, and there are some good large-sized projects where they are working on. Thank you, Mr. Tony and David. I will take the next question now. The next question which we have is, I think also both of our panelists can answer it one by one. The attendee has asked a question. Is there any preference from your side on the battery and panels that will be used? So appreciate if first Mr. David can answer and then Mr. Tony can answer the question. A preference on batteries and panels.
Okay, I'm going to answer this question. As I introduced in my presentation, our products don't need to use any battery, so customers can save their cost. And of course, our products has a very good performance work with solar panels because we adopted the MPPT technology. This is a maximum power point tracking technology, so it can use the solar panels very well. So it will take all the solar energy from solar panels to pump the water. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Mr. Tony, would you like to also give a few words related to this question?
Yes. That's a good question. We normally we only produce inverters, so the battery is not the choice. But recently we have a energy storage package of the inverter plus the battery as well, and it's going through the testing process, and I think it will show up in the market very soon. And normally the brands of the batteries we have is from BYD and LG, and a few, it's all of the batteries. It's a top class manufacturers, and also the energy storage package is it's covering a large scale from the home use and to the large scale of the commercial and industrial use.
Thank you, Mr. Tony. There is one more question which we have. I believe this question is addressed towards Mr. David. The questioner has asked us, what is the best performance of your inverter in comparison with motor pump?
Okay.
Do you think, if you can answer this question as well?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Wakos. Regarding this question, the principle of motor and pump is the same. Both of them are motors. So the performance of our inverter to work with these two types of device is the same. Both of them can work with our inverter very perfectly. So no matter which type of motor or pump, our inverter can work with very perfectly. And even some special pump like a BLDC, like a special type of pump or motor, we all can drive them perfectly. Thank you.
Thank you very much for a good answer, Mr. David. I believe, okay, we have received one more question, and as we have time, I will try to take this question as well. The last question which we got is, any specific pump or motor performance in comparison with inverter? Perhaps they're looking for an example. If your presentation will be available for download later on, we can just tell our attendees that they can download the presentation and they can see the data sheet. I guess that might be the answer. Let me know if that works. What do you think, Mr. David?
Okay, I think this customer is looking for an exact answer for our solar pump inverter. So if you really want me to give an answer, my answer is 380 volt asynchronous three-phase pump. And that is the perfect one. So if you have that pump, that is very lucky. It's very easy for our inverter to drive such a pump. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, this is clear. It makes sense. And I believe the data sheets for the pumps can also be downloaded from the website for further information as needed. So at the end, I would like to thank the valued speakers, Mr. David Lee, Sales Manager from Frecon Electric, and Mr. Tony Chow, Technical Senior Manager from Jinlong Solis. Thank you very much, both of you, for your time and for giving us your precious information and knowledge for Solar Pakistan webinar number 4, organized by FACT Exhibitions. For all the attendees, thank you very much for attending, and I hope that you found the discussions to be adding to your knowledge and Just to remind you one last time that you can also see the YouTube video of this from FACT Exhibition's YouTube channel, fakt.tv. And you can also view the recorded webinar and more videos and information. Thank you, everybody, and hope to see you again soon in another webinar. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.